What advice would you give founders or soon-to-be founders who are watching this episode?
Don't expect this to be a merry journey. This is going to be difficult. This is going to be hard. You have to be incredibly patient, incredibly persistent. But I guess that's the way life is programmed. The way life is programmed, you are bound for success if you keep on doing it. If you keep on going, persistent and patience and persistence, you're bound for success. And listen, that's a life hack. That's the way life is structured, that programmed. Patience and perseverance. That's it.
As a follow-up question, where do you draw these principles from? Like, do you have a mentor you learn from? Do you have favorite books? Do you have personal experience that you draw upon? Like, what's your primary source of learning, like large life principles and large business principles?
I'm incredibly fortunate in this sense to have an older brother, Artem Fedyaev, founder of Grubber.io. They found with his wife, they founded Grubber.io, incredible startup, one of the most successful startups in travel / kind of businesses. Incredible thing. They're actually building out a fintech branch out of Grubber. An amazing idea. It's going to be a kind of a banking software, really cool. And so obviously he's a big thing. He's a lot of things that I'm going through, he already went through. So having a chance to kind of get on the phone with him, talk through a lot of things, that's massive. If I would have one mentor in my life, right, that would be him. Obviously, as I mentioned, right, he founded Grubber.io, mywebroom.com. That was his first startup, the startup that I started working with early on. So, right, but also books. And doesn't matter if it's nonfiction or fiction, it's learning how to concentrate on a storyline. It's learning how to give yourself fully to one thing specifically, how to immerse yourself either in a storyline, right? That it teaches you life lessons. Books teach you life lessons. Books actually give you wisdom. Like no joke, kids. Books give you wisdom.
I believe it. I love books.
Right? So fiction, nonfiction, read as much as you want. Read whatever you want, mangas, comics, whatever it is. Read because it learns you, it gives you an opportunity to experience life in a different way. When you experience life in a different way, through somebody else's eyes, you gain wisdom, you gain knowledge. So I guess answering your question, really fortunate to have my older brother, founder of Grubber.io, and a shit ton of books.
Do you have a favorite, like 1, 2, or 3 books, or most impactful 1 or 2 books?
Science fiction, love science fiction. Strugatsky brothers, look them up.
What did they write?
Science fiction.
Okay.
Science fiction. They're out of Soviet Union, but it's literally the most deepest. It's so philosophical and it's so deep and it's so human. Doomed City, wonderful book that gets into what we are as humans and how we function, how we collaborate. Actually, it's a really cool book. Snail on the Slope, one of my favorite books by Strugatsky brothers. There's really anything that you most of their books except 4, I think, were translated into English, so you could find them online. They're wonderful writers. Science fiction. Philip K. Dick, a U.S. science fiction writer. Amazing science fiction writer as well. I know a lot of your listeners probably know him because he's pretty famous. There was actually a TV show that came out quite recently based on his novel. And I guess to finalize this, I give you two other names, and that's philosophy. It's going to be Kant, the person that revolutionized philosophy, changed the way we see things and feel things and know things. Kant and Wittgenstein, just because the other big thing that I'm interested in philosophy is philosophy of language. And that ties closely to both programming, because it's also languages. It's how we syntactically structure things, think about things. So Wittgenstein, also a big revolutionary guy, that if anybody's interested in philosophy, you got to know those 2 names, Wittgenstein and Kant.
Have you read *Sapiens*?
Great book.
Okay, I figured if you haven't, you'd probably really enjoy it if you like those.
Great book. Anything that has words in it and that makes sense, that has a good book. I don't care about the message. If it has a message and it's structured clearly and it gives you some sort of enjoyment, it's a good book. Read it.
Okay.